Welcome to another video from East Beds Bushcraft, the home of #survival.
Greetings bushcrafters and survivalists, it's Buzz back for yet another Super Noodle review. Not a Super Noodle review, because Super Noodles are meant to be the nation's most favourite noodle, but I disagree because so far I've not found one I like. But that's for another day, okay, because we need to return to Super Noodles, the product, and see if actually they do one that is actually palatable. But today we are looking at a different type of noodle. This one, again, supplied by my good friend Chaz, the Noodle Dealer, okay. This is by a company called Super Chili, okay, Super Chili. But this one, these ones really sort of like stuck out for me. There's the packet, okay, you've seen the thumbnail. It says, it's great, it says artificial. I mean, that really inspires you to think that these are going to be great, aren't they? It says artificial spicy tomato hot pot. So this is spicy tomato hot pot flavour. Okay, and I just love the image they've got on the front here. They've got like a noodle bowl. It's got obviously the noodles, and one assumes the hot pot sauce, chopped tomatoes. It's got mushrooms growing out of it for some reason, and some green veg in the background. I don't know, there's something else there, I don't know what that is. One singular chili pepper. This I absolutely love. Sliced spam. I've got a tin of spam, the old bushcrafters special. Always there to chop up some spam or some corned beef and chuck it in things. So it's actually got a picture of spam on it, and then some strange things that look like toffees or some kind of like you know, some kind of sweet that they've stuck in there, and a hot cross bun. So I really don't know what's going on with this. And then underneath it says picture for illustrative purposes only. Okay, because not being funny, if the spam here is the same size as normal spam, this bowl is like a fruit bowl. It's a massive big bowl. There we go. Anyway, let's have a look at the instructions, because we're meant to be at camp, and this is what we've just got out. We've decided it's lunchtime and we're going to do these cooking instructions. Okay, so I've got some water on. It says cook the noodles and vegetables in 600 millilitres, which I've got in there, boiling water. Okay, so cook the noodles, so I've got to get it up to boiling point and then add it in. So after 2 minutes, stir to make sure the noodles are evenly heated and not tangled. We don't want tangled noodles, that would be terrible. Then it says after a further minute, so obviously so we've got to cook it for 2 minutes, then stir it, then cook it for a further minute, then add the seasoning and sauce to the pot and continuously cook for another minute. Then turn off the fire. Turn off the fire. Then it says stir well and serve. Right, let's see what's in the packet. Okay, I checked out the price on these. Pack of 5. If you can track these down, pack of 5 is £6, which means £1.20 a pack. Right. Okay, so we have a good cake of noodles, and as we discussed in a previous video, Chaz and I have come to the conclusion that when they serve it in a round cake of noodles, it sits in a round noodle bowl, which makes sense really when you think about it. Ooh, it's like a lucky bag in here. What we got? Right, we've got our loose noodles in there to go in when the water's boiling. We have a seasoning pack, a vegetable pack, and then quite a thick looking sauce pack, which I'm just going to dip in the water and see if that's just leave it there a minute, see if that softens up. Right, so which one goes in first? We've got to put the vegetable pack in with the boiling water. Right, well the water's not quite boiling yet. Well, that seems to soften that up a bit. Another little dip in there. Right, see how? Okay, so that's the thing. Sometimes with these noodles, if you've had them in storage for a while, the actual sauces and things can go quite solidified. Doesn't mean they've gone off. All it means is that you just need to heat them up a little bit just to soften them up and get them to work. Right, okay, now I don't think I'm going to get this whole cake of noodles in my Crusader cup. So, sad though it is, all going back in there. I'm just going to break a little bit. Each to their own. There you go, I've broken a little bit. So, in goes the noodles. In goes the bigger part of the noodles, so if I can get it in there. In goes the loose noodles. And the vegetable pack, it says. Okay, so the last noodles I did, it was actually just the water and the vegetable pack that I put in first. And that actually worked really well. I absolutely adored the seafood one we had previously because it was the noodles, well, shall I say the noodles were great, but the vegetable pack had loads of crab meat in it as well. Right, 2 minutes, let's get it on the clock. 2 minutes on the go. It's not long, so let's push these noodles down. Okay, right. These are quite looking like a thin noodle. Right, okay, so let's fast forward 2 minutes and get to the next stage. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't know what's happening with my fingers today. Yay! The sage, the wise old sage, the wise owl of noodles has come to us to tell us 2 minutes. Now, this is the interesting thing. It says after 2 minutes, give it a stir to make sure the noodles aren't tangled. I don't think I've ever had that on a pack before. Stir it to make sure the noodles aren't tangled. The bit of dried veg that I can see in there is swelling up nicely. Okay, we've got some lettuce in there, see that? Okay, and then we cook it for another minute. So let's get rid of that. It's back on there. Bingo. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The wise old noodle owl is doing his job today. And there we go. Right, so off we go. It's had another minute. So that's 3 minutes so far. At this point, it says, as he squints at it, oh, geez. Okay, add the seasoning and the sauce. Well, there's a big bit of carrots in there. Alright, seasoning going in. Seasoning. Looks like it's got a reasonable amount of salt in that. Then we have our sauce sachet. Right, here we go. In goes the sauce. This is like a very thick tomato puree. It smells tomatoey. Okay. Okay, let's get the rubbish in there. Right, that's all rubbish together. Let's stir this in. And stick it on the heat, because it says add the seasoning and the sauce to the pot and continuously cook for 1 more minute. Boom. Okay, 1 more minute on the clock. Continuously cook, not just like randomly bit by bit cook, continuously cook. The other thing is, right, okay, it says on here fried instant noodles. Now normally when I do one of these packs and it's a fried noodle, they usually get you to cook the noodles in the water and then pour the water off in order to kind of fry the noodle in the pan, but there is no decanting of water on this one, not on the super chili spicy tomato hot pot. Now, It's definitely smelling tomato. Definitely smelling kind of what I would consider tomato puree. Right, rubbish wise, nice little bowl of rubbish to take back with us from camp. Oh crikey, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That crept up on us quick. Didn't even need to take a break for that one. Right, that's 3 visits from the wise old noodle owl. Right, you have been continuously cooked for another minute. Right, so we started off with 600 millilitres of water, which was quite a lot of water, which means I have got quite a lot of soup in there. Right, are these going to be good noodles, right? Not only to take to camp, but are these going to be good noodles to have in your prepping supplies? Are these noodles going to be tomato hot pot noodles that you're going to sit there when calamity strikes and, you know, everything's gone to pot, you know, and you're sitting there going, at least I've got these wonderful tomato hot pot noodles to eat. Or if you're out at camp or out on a canoeing trip and you're on an overnighter and you think, oh, do you know what I could really do with a bit of tomato hot pot? Are these going to be the bad boys that do the job? Well, anyway, there is no escaping it. It smells tomatoey. I'm just trying to compare. It's kind of, I think because there's spice in there, I'm picking up the spice. It's not like cream of tomato. It does actually smell more like tomato puree. Let's have a look at the noodles. So we have got some nice thin noodles with random bits of green and carrot in there. Right, as always, noodles that have been cooked and not just steeped in the water tend to be extra hot, as in temperature, but we'll try some for our first impression. For a £1.20 pack of noodles, interesting. Okay, let's get munching. Wow. Okay. They weren't half bad. No noodle Valkyrie. Okay. With a noodle Valkyrie, the flavour for me has to be something that's like really exceptionally good. This is good. Okay, this is good. It's tomatoey, which obviously is tomato hot pot. It's a thin soup, not like a thick soup. As I say, some of these I'd expect you to pour water off and then have a thick sauce on it. But actually, it took me a long time to actually eat these. The noodles kept on giving. The noodles themselves weren't slimy. They were thin noodles. Nice mouthful of noodles. And as I say, the size of the cake of noodles seemed to get much bigger once they've been cooked. So the noodles just didn't stop giving. I did find some actual bite-sized pieces of lettuce in there, and some carrots. I think that's where it's probably lacking. It could probably done, since it's tomato hot pot, it would have been nice if maybe they'd stuck some sun-dried tomato in with the mixed vegetable, so you had some actual, you know, rehydrated tomato in there. Or even, although, you know, I mean, these are obviously a noodle dish, some mushrooms might be nice. You know, I'd be tempted myself if I was at camp and I'd taken some mushrooms with me and chopped some mushrooms up and chuck them in there. Maybe cook them in the Crusader cup first, give them a little bit of oil, cook the mushrooms, and then proceed with the thing. But overall, I really like that. So the cup is a little bit coated in oil inside. I've had worse. So that'll need a little rinse out. Well, obviously a cup always needs a rinse out, but a little bit messier than I like. Do you know, I think I'm impressed with these. For £1.20, for the belly full of noodles it gave, I would say these are probably, if I had these on my shelf, which I inevitably, I think I will look out for these and have some packs in my stores, then I think these would make, and maybe it's because I associate like a cream of tomato soup with cold winter's days, but I think these would especially be good if it was maybe a chillier morning. You know, you've got a mist down, maybe it's later in the year, even a light frost, and you think, you know, ooh, I want something just to warm me up. I think that'd be spot on. So for £1.20, the amount of noodles that it keeps giving you, the flavour is really nice. Nothing like totally amazing, but still really nice. Do you know what? I'm going to give these a solid 9. I was going to go 8, but you know what? I just can't fault them really. Very nice. If the flavour just, when it says spicy, it's not really spicy, you know, so if you're worried about, ooh, these might be too spicy for me, no, they were just a very, very mild spice. I just think that it just needed just something to push it, to have the noodle Valkyrie appear on, and your taste buds to like go, oh, this is gorgeous. But you know, I'm really pleased with those. So yeah, again, I would recommend that you search them out if you like a bit of tomato hot pot. And as I say, when we're at camp, we can always chop other things up. I mean, something like that I think would go really nice if I had a chorizo sausage, and I chop some chorizo sausage up and put it in on that, because it always goes nice with tomato. You know, if I'm doing sort of chorizo pasta or something, I always do it with like a tomato pasta sauce. So yeah, some chorizo sausage, maybe some added mushrooms, as I say, a bit of sun-dried tomato would really pep it up. But I'm really impressed. So there you go. And as I always say, bushcraft might not add years to your life, but it certainly adds life to your years. So thanks for tuning in to another Noodle video with Buzz, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.
Thank you for watching. Please like and share this video and subscribe to the East Beds Bushcraft channel. See you all again soon.